Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Priya Chatterjee Ray and I graduated from the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad or IIM Ahmedabad in 2023. For the past 6 months or so, I've been running this YouTube channel where I've been sharing information and data, knowledge, etc. with you to sort of bridge the gap between MBA aspirants like you and successful B school students so that you have all the necessary knowledge that is required to crack your MBA entrance tests and get into the B schools of your dreams. Now, a very important aspect of that is knowing the kind of questions that are asked in GDPIs and preparing for the same. MBA interview transcripts or IIM interview transcripts are always very, very high in demand because they give you an idea as to what you need to prepare. And my own MBA transcripts have been some of the most requested videos on this channel. I'm trying my best to collate all of them and I will have them up in the near future. But when I sat and I thought about it, I realized that my interviews took place nearly 3 years ago. They took place during COVID, so they were mostly online, and I'm not sure how helpful they would be to you in your preparation, which is why I decided to launch this new series. Now, most of you wouldn't know this, but I've been simultaneously running this semi-formal GDPI preparation program, which has brought me in touch with a lot of MBA aspirants like you who took the CAT exam or cracked the CAT this year and got calls from some of the best B schools in the country. What this series of videos aims to do is bring out their MBA interview experiences, the transcripts of their interviews with the different IIMs, and I'm going to try my best to share them with you on this channel. What this will do is basically bring you face to face with some profiles that might match your own so that you can prepare for the questions that these people were asked in their interviews if their profile matches yours, so that you know the kind of questions you're being asked in real time and so that you can prepare better for your profile, your role, your college, etc. And it also will give you an idea of the level of preparation your competitors have at this stage. I do hope that this series will be helpful for you. If you think that this is a good idea and if you want to see more such videos, make sure to leave a comment below letting me know the kind of profile you have and what kind of MBA transcripts you want to see, and I will try my best to have them for you. That said, we will now move into the first of the videos in this series, which is with a friend of mine by the name of Ram Gupta, who has been so kind as to come and share his entire interview experience with us on the channel instead of just sharing his transcript in an anonymous manner. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and thank Ram in the comments for being so helpful. Okay. Hi guys, we have Ram with us again today. He's here to speak to us about his XLRI business management interview. Ram, so XLRI doesn't, for those of you who are listening, XLRI this year has introduced the GDPI concept in that they had a group discussion for the first time in many years. So I think Ram will be the best person to tell us about how that went. Ram, over to you. Okay,
Hi,
before
Priya.
you start, can you give us an introduction about yourself so that everyone knows who you are?
Sure. My name is Ram Gupta. I am from Jaipur. I have about my profile. I have 10 CGP in 10th, 95 in 12th, and 9 pointer in my undergrad, which was in management studies, so BMS. So I have
Okay.
a commerce profile. Shall we discuss the GD first?
Can you tell us when your interview was held?
It was on the 27th. It was on the 29th of Feb, like
29.
on the
Okay.
bonus day. Yeah,
Leap day. Nice. Okay, so
yeah.
first let's talk about what your panel was like, how many people were there, and what slot you were in.
I was in slot one and the morning slot and panel one as well. And my serial number was sixth
Okay,
out
how
of
many
seven.
people? Okay, 7 people.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the GD then. What was your topic?
So it was an abstract topic. So it was a quote from an author, wherein he was basically mentioning it was not even it was not a one-liner quote. It was a snippet from something that he might have said, and it was more towards that curiosity, the value that curiosity plays in learning, whether it's for a child or for a human being, and that curiosity should not die after a certain age, and what role do books play. So it was a very pro-reading thingy, but also driven by curiosity, not by curriculum. And that you should harness that curiosity because books give you exposure to different things, and then you can explore for yourself. So it was an open-ended topic. There was
Okay.
no CTA per se at the
Okay.
end. that discuss this, discuss that. It was in quotes and it ended there. It was a 5 to 6 line paragraph.
Okay, so how were the proceedings of the GD? Did you all follow a specific order in speaking?
So I guess we were given a minute or so
Okay.
to think about it first, and then there was an order. So it was regulated by the panelists. There were three panelists, two male professors, one female professor. So they were basically moderating it a bit in the beginning and towards the end. And
Okay.
in the middle, it was basically up to us. So the first minute or so, they were modulating. And then the discussion, as in all GTs, went a bit haywired, and it was only controlled by the people who were speaking. And but one key difference was that Excel has changed its GD parameters, or whether it was introduced, I'm not aware, but they gave 30 seconds to everyone to summarize basically. And it
Okay.
again went into the order from 1 to 7. So it
Okay.
followed a serial
So
number.
you were the sixth one in that. Okay. So
Yeah.
going back a little bit, when the topic was given, could anyone start talking, or did that also follow an order?
Anyone could start off.
Okay, so anyone could pick up and then someone could interject and speak basically.
Yeah. So I actually had prepared because we were given a minute and we were explicitly told to summarize at the end,
Hmm.
mandatorily summarize. So it was
Hmm.
not a closing statement thing wherein you could take the initiative as it goes in a normal GD.
Right.
So that is why we were jotting down points even in the middle, like at least I was.
Hmm.
And but even before I could begin speaking, even though I had drafted my opening statement, the panelist beside me interjected in the middle and she
Okay.
started taking the opening statement. So
Okay.
it went like a normal GD goes, that
Okay.
whoever is confident enough can speak, people can interject. Although our panel was quite respectful,
Hmm.
so everybody
So
got a chance to speak.
okay, that's an interesting thing because I remember doing a couple of GDs, sitting in a couple of GDs when I was in IMA. It was never, this is for placements, it was never well behaved. People were always screaming, shouting, talking on top of each other.
Yeah, but ours was luckily very respectful,
Okay.
wherein even if somebody interjects, there's a to and fro, like very Lucknowi thing, pehle aap, and
Okay.
then sometimes the modulator only spoke to you, go first, and then do the second.
Okay, got it. Okay,
So
but the interesting thing to remember here is that you cannot get away with not speaking and not listening to what others are saying because you
yeah,
mandatorily have to give a closing statement or
yeah,
sum up the GD.
in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're also testing your observation skills, I guess. Got it. Okay, moving on to your actual interview, let's talk about that. How did it start?
So after my GD, we went back to the waiting area, and then my sequence was sixth as mentioned.
Hmm.
It started with a standard "Tell me about yourself," which I had prepared, so I had a 1 minute answer for that. And
Anyone who
then it
wants to know what Ram's 1 minute answer is, it's in the IIM Lucknow transcript. You can go and listen to it over there. Okay, please
okay.
continue.
And then it went on to my startup. So I had a funded startup. So it was about that, where it was like how it's located, how it's doing right now, how it started, what
Hmm.
was the business model, what was the target consumer, and what was our approach and our channels, distribution channel. So these were the 5, 6 questions. So anybody who has a startup should prepare on these lines. Then it went on to cross-border transactions and business risk for firms who are involved in international transactions. So it went on to that. So we did delve into the standard business risks, political supply chain, custom duties, and everything. And
Okay.
then it went on to the panelists said that mention from a perspective of a supplier and a consumer and mention two risks that you could face. I answered that, but she wanted more of a fintech related answer, and this was because out of the three descriptive questions in our form, in our Excel form, there was the answer that I wrote for the first question, which was what is the one business development that you're or business challenge that you're passionate about, and how would
Hmm.
you go about solving it? So it was in the fintech space, my answer.
Okay.
And that is why she was nudging me a bit towards the payment gateways and all that risk in international transaction. So this was about it. Then it went on to my investment strategy because I had mentioned investing in the stock markets as one of the areas in the form. So it was about my strategy, what I follow, and there was no cross questioning out of it. I had a prepared 1 minute answer for that, but there was no cross questioning on the terms that I
Okay.
had thrown around. Then the second panelist was the male professor. He went more into my work what my company
Okay.
does, how much revenue it has, what are my key responsibilities. But then this was again 1 to 2 minute segment at max. And then it quickly went on to the third professor interjected and he asked more about statistics. So, what is mean? What is standard deviation? Why do we not use absolute deviation? And why do we have a square in the formula? So he
Mm.
went pretty deep into that discussions. And then why the dispersion about mean would always amount to zero. We had
Right.
a 1 to 2 minute discussion on this aspect alone. And yeah, that was about it.
Okay, so do you think that most of the questions came from your tell me about yourself? Because you mentioned your startup, your investment strategy, and your work all of which I'm sure you mentioned in your tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
So it was basically coming from hints that you had dropped in your tell me about yourself.
Definitely, there were very few academic questions,
Hmm.
and I feel statistics is also basic statistics questions were there, but it
Hmm.
is also something that one should prepare irrespective of their background because
Right.
everyone had this even before 10th.
Right.
So, and we would have this in MBA. So this is a very basic thing that
Yeah.
everyone should prepare.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, one interesting thing that I noticed is that we tend to believe that they usually don't read our forms or the answers that we give for the question. Clearly, this female professor had read your answers and was nudging you in the direction of what you had
Yeah.
mentioned already on the form. So I think that's something to take away again. How long did your interview last, and what was the conversational tone? Was it friendly? Was it like a student teacher? Was it a discussion? Was it a stress interview?
The female panelist was, again, this is my perception. It could be completely wrong, but the female professor listened very keenly throughout the interview. The both the male professors only interjected and listened for their relevant questions. So I tried maintaining eye contact with them throughout,
Hmm.
as you should. But they were either reading my form or they were trying to pretend that they were not listening. Probably this could be the case. So the female professor was more towards listening. The statistics professor tried to uh, ask very core questions on statistics, to which I didn't have any detailed answer.
Okay.
So he was trying on the statistics. He was playing on that statistics part. And the second professor questioned why I joined my job rather than continuing with my startup. So he tried to sort of take a stress interview there for a couple
Okay.
of minutes.
Got it. How long did the interview last, roughly?
It was again on the line near the 10-minute mark,
Okay,
not a very long interview.
considerably short. Okay, fair. And overall, what was the last question? How did you end the interview? Smiles, chocolates, anything?
No, I actually didn't get any. I didn't get any sweets, but there were people. Interestingly, there were people because it was the morning slot and it got
Hmm.
delayed by an hour. So we
Hmm.
reported at 8, but nothing started by 9. Like
Hmm.
nothing. There was no announcement. Nothing. So there were people who were offered bananas and fruits even.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And you unluckily didn't get any of that.
No, I I didn't get anything. And also, it to answer your question, it ended there only on the statistics question when I
Right.
finally gave in and I said that I don't have that much clarity here. I tried to answer for a couple of minutes based on the rudimentary understanding of the
Hmm.
formulas that I knew. But after that, I also gave in that. I think I'm moving in circles, and this is the extent of my knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's something also that's important for everyone to learn is that at some point it's okay to give in and say, I
Yeah.
don't know. If they're picking on if the interviewer is picking on you on a specific thing again and again, and you feel like you've been backed into a corner, you can just say, I don't know, or I'm sorry, I can't recall and move on rather than getting pushed more and more into the corner. Okay, makes
Also,
sense.
you get limited opportunities. So rather than playing on the back foot for a really long time, it's much better to leave that ball and face the next one.
Nice analogy. Okay. Cool. So I think that was interesting to hear about. Thank you, Ram, for sharing your experience. I hope to see you soon when you share another interview experience, because for those of you who don't know, Ram has every B school interview call that you can think of. And I'm forcing him into giving us transcripts for all of them. For now, thank you so much for doing this. We'll see you next
Thank
time.
you, Priya. Definitely. Bye.
Bye.